What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Panthers Nation Network. People I feel like might be a little bit cooled off on the Panthers, at least Panthers fans. Not the best preseason performance, I'd say, but what were your thoughts, at least?
First thought is I wish we had backups that I thought were good enough to go up against everybody else's backups.
Yep.
And that's a big problem because we know how our seasons have gone the past, 3-4 years. Our backups are going to play. In the league, your backups are going to play. I want to feel comfortable about the next set of guys that have to come in and perform. Now, certain guys did elevate their game, and I was glad to see that. I mean, and obviously we'll get to those guys as we move along throughout the show. But overall, I was not pleased at the overall play of each unit from the second team.
Yeah, no, not and really any facet, to be honest, both defense or offensively. Now, I will say it bears reminding that it was Brad Idzik and Jonathan Cooley calling the plays. Now, that is not to say that they are bad play callers or not good at their jobs, but, whether or not that's a common occurrence amongst NFL teams, they're not, that was their first time calling plays for the Panthers organization, I don't believe Cooley called them last preseason, and I'm not entirely sure that Idzik called them last preseason either, especially because that would have been Canales' first preseason, and he definitely would have been wanting to get, his routine out there. So that, for some stuff like, the lack of a defensive pass rush, right, even, from if our forwards can't get to him, which I think at the beginning of the game they were getting to Shedeur.
Right.
The angles they were taking were not the best.
This is true.
Especially for a speedier quarterback. And I would have liked to maybe blitz another guy, but that shows how much the linebacker disparity is going to keep us from being able to blitz.
That was the most glaring need I saw on the defensive side. You see the linebacker core, you're like, nah. Even if you didn't think that highly of Josie Jewell, you couldn't afford to lose anybody in that room.
No.
So Christian Roseboom, Trevin Wallace, those guys, I'm not that sold. But again, these were also guys that we weren't that sold on going into it. So we were kind of hoping these guys were going to show and prove and prove us wrong and make us feel better than what we may have had been going into that game. But nothing was done of the sort. And now you have Houston coming up this week, and hopefully. This is a better team. I imagine you're going to probably see their starters because it's preseason game number 2 for everyone.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to get a good chunk of work. We're going to probably get a real result of what our team may look like moving forward.
Yeah, and I think there was some issues. Obviously, health was a big thing, right? We knew no Derek Brown. Mm-hmm. We knew no J.C. Horn. We knew no Hunter Renfrow, and we knew no Damian Lewis. We didn't know Damian Lewis. Damian Lewis, he tweaked something in the joint practice. Now, he was working out without, outside of pads this last week. So, hopefully, they're taking him week by week to see that if it's not something – I think it was his shoulder, if I remember correctly, to see how, bad that is. And then that also played into, okay, now, what are you going to do offensive line-wise? Because Bryce was getting rushed. Bryce was getting rushed early on. But, of course, and that was without, mind you, Myles Garrett, Hey, he wasn't playing on their side of the ball.
Exactly.
I will say, though, for the ones who keyed in and filled in for injuries, Bobby Brown, I thought, did really good.
He did.
Ashawn Robinson did really good. And Corey Thornton has continued to shine.
Yeah. Corey Thornton was definitely a name that we had mentioned the week before. Even before, mind you, we recorded prior to the practice.
This is prior to the Browns practice.
To the joint practice. He showed up and played. And I do feel great about him. If there has to be a guy to fill in, say, for example, if there's a guy that I think could battle for maybe the corner position out opposite of J.C. Horn, I wouldn't mind it. But again, a shout out to Dan Morgan for hitting on those UDFAs. You see how important he takes those UDFAs and how important those guys have been to his teams. Another UDFA, we got more UDFAs to get to as we move along. But yeah, that was very important to see. Happy to see, like you said, guys like Bobby Brown starting to show up for us. You like to see that as well. The starting defense in terms of the front line, I think they'll be fine. Like you said, they did get pressure. Just didn't finish off sacks. But you even saw your rookies get involved. You saw Nick score and make some plays. You saw Princely get back there as well. So those guys did flash. I just wish we had a better overall performance.
Yeah, right. And I think like especially when it comes to like now Shedeur was in there a while, right? So I do think people have overhyped his performance and he needed to be in there. We talked about it, right? This was his chance to, silence all the doubters and say, I can do what I'm able to do. And the Panthers definitely gave him that opportunity because, leading 3 scoring drives and having some big plays too. It took a while for his run game to get going, then he broke off that big one. I think it took, a minute for the passing to get there. Very efficient and quick in the red zone. I'll give him that. I was very, very impressed with his red zone performance.
The first touchdown he threw was look. What does old boy that does QB school say? Capital A anticipation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. It was absolutely
with capital A anticipation. Layer that ball through some defensive hands were definitely around there. He played with a level of confidence that looked similar to what he looked like in Colorado. So I mean, for me. Do I think he's ready to be a starter today? No, I don't believe so.
No.
Do I think he's ready to be a backup for you right now? I do. I think if for Cleveland situation, he is the best backup option there in Cleveland behind Joe Flacco. I believe.
Look, I mean, Joe Flacco has done how many times has he done this now? 3 times at least. Where he's stayed in that starting role to allow for the rookie to get a little bit under him, right? So you've got the written blueprint in front of you. Allow the journeyman Joe Flacco to start, first quarter of your season. You're not doing anything to win right now as the Browns, so just let him come through. Now we talk about efficiency from a quarterback perspective and an overall continuation of a positive performance. Bryce Young.
Yes.
I mean, he was for the drive. I would have liked to have seen. We talked about this. I would have liked to see one more drive from him.
Right.
I think they took him out very quickly. I understand he was getting a bit more rushed than they wanted, but I would have liked to see just from a scoreboard and efficiency standpoint, like especially after the first 3 and out, hated that. That was gross. And then, but I did love, the immediate downfield connection to T-Mac coming out of the gates.
Oh, my goodness.
And that was like everything because it was a beautiful ball, but it was still a hard ball to catch. And T-Mac played it beautifully.
And I can say this now. For everyone that wanted to go defense, myself, you and
myself,
and a lot of my other homies, I can say now, that play was the play I think everybody needed to see to be like, hey, look, understand why we did this.
Yeah,
like you know what I'm saying, and I think that was great for everyone. I think it could put everybody at ease and be like, I get it.
And the better play that didn't pan out that people are talking about, though, was the misconnection on the touchdown pass. And give it to, he's a rookie, so his mind was a little bit slower than his body. But Bryce's anticipation, when he slipped that ball through there, oh, my God. T-Mac, the route was ridiculous. If you look back on it, nice. he's freaking doing the icky shuffle.
But, like, the great thing to see is that even this early into their process, Bryce is already thinking that ball's got to be out. T-Mac immediately knows, like, hey, look.
You can see it.
I know.
You can see it.
I missed it. I got you. But I'll know better next time. I gotta get by that cut and be ready for it.
But see, that's the crazy part is that like, because Bryce threw it before he even made the cut.
Yeah.
I don't even think he was in the end zone.
He was still making the moves. he was still breaking Bird down at the point. And as soon as he turned, that ball's right there. And which is how you coach it. It's how you want it done, but I liked it. It was a good sign in my book.
Absolutely. So Bryce, I think, was incredibly efficient. He was placing, he had the long pass to Adam Thielen before that even started, showing again what Adam Thielen could bring into this. Yeah. We saw connections with, and then the Jalen Coker catch.
Yeah.
The Jalen Coker catch down the field, one-handed, over the shoulder. Yeah. I mean, my God.
And it's funny. I love our fans, right? I love our fan base, right? But the funniest thing I've seen has been all of a sudden the Jalen Coker making plays and following up on what he did, on how he ended last year. But all throughout the offseason, I could not hear a word about Jalen Coker aside from all I heard was T-Mac, Jimmy Horn, Hunter Renfrow. People had gone as far to the point to say if there's anybody on the bubble as a possibility, it was Jalen Coker. I'm like, bro, are y'all crazy, bro?
And that question got asked at presser, not by who you think it got asked by. I'll tell you that right now. I won't say who you think asked it, but it was asked, and I loved Dave's answer, and it to me finally solidified they're going to. I don't think there's a receiver that they're going to cut.
I don't think so either.
I say that because, I mean, David Moore had a play in preseason. Hunter Renfrow, if he had been healthy, would have had a play in that game. You know, they all had plays in the game.
Right.
They all had moments.
Yeah.
But basically what he said is, look, I'm like, show us you can make plays and you will be on the field.
Yeah.
He didn't say starting. He didn't say wide receiver 1. He didn't say wide receiver 2. There will be a package for you. And I think they will go to the great lengths, especially like they're keeping a lot of tight ends right now. But I got to think with Mitchell Evans and then with Jatavian Sanders and with Tremble on the PUP list right now, I think they'll run with obviously maybe 3 tight ends, maybe 3, and as many receivers as they can because, guys, there's nobody that they're going to cut. They might trade somebody. I highly doubt it. Unless someone has an insane – that they feel like they can expend an insane first 4 games, first 6 games.
And this is the thing. When the conversation started to arise about Jalen Coker, I thought everyone went the wrong way with who they thought would be the expendable piece. I'm like, dog, y'all, do you think, just to read and just be smart here for a second, do you think the expendable piece would be last year's first round pick? And not the OG in the room that is on the last legs of his career that can definitely help a team out somewhere else. To be fair, he'd be more useful somewhere else, helping out a team with more Super Bowl potential, championship contending potential. I'm like,
especially because the writing's is on there on the wall. If Hunter Renfrow pans out, then you've replicated what you needed from him.
Who do you think Hunter Renfrow was there for?
Right?
Who do y'all think Hunter Renfrow was there to go get? Like, his only similar body type, and literally not because of skin color.
No.
It would be Adam Thielen.
Absolutely.
Like, so
there's and to be honest, if we're like, don't get me wrong, I've loved what he's provided for the locker room.
Right.
The more and more I get to talk to him, the more and more I see him interact. He is dedicated to the Panthers, but there was a moment in time where he was thinking business first.
And to be fair,
as
at
he
his
should
stage
be.
in his career, I'm not mad at that at all. And this is not me saying I want Adam gone.
No,
because Adam still very much makes plays for us. So I'm not geeked up to get rid of any playmaker on this team. If we're able to be a playoff contending team, I would like Adam Thielen along for the ride. But I wouldn't mind having my young guys continue to ascend and also take take the lead on some things as well. So I'm not mad at either or option. I'm trying to weigh my options out and see what can we do with this.
Now that all that being said, because I agree, if it comes down to needing a defensive piece, especially a linebacker,
somebody's got to go. Somebody's got to go.
Someone has to go.
Like, there is no questions about that because that defense needs help.
It
still needs it.
It's really brutal, to be honest. And hopefully with Derek Brown, he was working out in pads the last week, so that's good. I don't think again they'll still bring him into Houston. I don't see it happening. I think, if anything, they keep him for the Steelers. JC was not in pads at all this week. I don't know how much they're rushing to get him ready for Houston. It seems like they're trailing in that direction, but they're not going to press him.
I thought I saw, and I may be wrong. And obviously you were there, so you definitely could confirm this. I thought I saw Dave Canales say that if he had to play today, he could play, but there was really no rush for the risk of him having the stitches.
Yeah.
They were like, we don't want to risk any infection. There really is no rush to get him back out there.
Yeah.
If he had to play, he could play.
And because they're very that way about it. Very, we're day to day. We're day. I mean, and it's not until normally Friday that they'll tell one way or the other, hey, they're not playing. But you can and yes, he did say that to that effect because no, there's no reason to. And even the Texans would be the one, I think, from a receiver standpoint. You would love to see him. But to be honest, with how good Corey Thornton has been doing, and it's not from he's only doing good against he's locking up our guys. He's locking up the Browns receivers, which at the point there was no Jerry Jeudy, so it's who was the receivers? But I honestly would rather find out as early as possible if Thornton is a venerable, third option. I don't want him playing nickel because I think what Shaw Smith-Wade does is good there, and we need more depth on the outside than we do on the inside. But if there's any game where I'm going to say, okay, let me see what you can do, it's this one. They've got a ridiculous amount of rookie receivers and, 2 3-year guys too.
Yeah.
Like
that's a deep receiver room. You think about it, they took the 2 kids from Iowa State.
Noel and Higgins.
Yeah, so
both of them.
They're gonna get some, so they're gonna have this, there's gonna be some good work there, even if there is no Nico Collins.
Right.
Like
even if there is no Tank Dell. Like
right. You know what I'm saying? Why not? I would love to see him work against somebody's ones and see if that continues to play out. Like I said, I am more intrigued to see if Thornton can play. You know, if he can play in real games for us than J.C. Horn. I mean, truth be told, I mean, like I know J.C. Horn played a good bit last year, but I still rather get you to the regular season.
Absolutely.
100%. Now I do want to see him get some reps somewhere.
I think against the Steelers, I think that will. I mean, he'll have enough time after the fact, and he should be. And then when you've got DK Metcalf.
Still good work.
Right? Like, that's pretty good work to go up against. And then, that's where you're going to – and then also with Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball, you're going to want – like, I'm okay with that. Right. I'm okay with that as being when he waits. I think the most glaring thing – well, I think one of the most glaring things about the whole preseason game, and I'm not saying this for what y'all think I'm saying it for, was discipline. Yep. There was a lot of sloppy penalties. Yeah. Like, it was 6 penalties, 66 yards. The special teams was abysmal. I mean, Jimmy muffed it and then recovered it himself. Or no, I think it was Raheem that muffed it and recovered himself. ETN, the only reason they even scored for that first touchdown was because he muffed the punt return and he got too far behind it. I think, Raheem, who's always been great, got too far in front of it. Yeah. I think Jimmy showed a little bit of flashes, but completely misread the angle he was supposed to take. He misread a couple angles. Yeah. On the screenplay, he horribly misread his angle, and on the punt return, he also misread his angle. So discipline all around was not ideal.
Yeah, no, and that's a real issue moving forward. Like special teams not being solidified, not having a returner solidified. I will hope that somebody in the coming weeks will figure it out and take the lead on that. But that being the first time we got to see it in person, that ain't what you want to show the fans, dog.
No, and the new kickoff rules are also so weird. It's still like they're having them be that far forward just does not.
Yeah, I'm not the greatest fan of it. If it's gonna prevent injuries, then for sure.
I guess
whatever works. You know what I'm saying? So we can keep playing our game. Then for sure.
That's fair. And then from a discipline standpoint, we talked about. Look at I don't know what happened. We talked to XL 2 days ago, and he said he didn't even know that defensive back was the guy who was getting into it with Chuba at the joint practice. He didn't even realize that's who it was. He said nothing was even really said, and so I really don't know, like, what sparked it. And either he's just not telling us because he doesn't want to tell us or isn't allowed to tell us, like, what sparked it. But I don't think I've ever seen in a preseason game a receiver straight up box.
Hey, you know what? Shout out to my mom too, because she was at the game, but she got some great steals.
For real,
bro. Got some. I'll show you.
Please do.
But she got some great steal photos from that. That though, I mean, I'm just going back and looking at the play. It looked like XL was finishing a block, which I love to see. Love to see the physicality. We know that's what Dave wants from his receivers. They need to be able to do multiple things, blocking being one of them. I don't. Okay, look. Do I love fighting? I don't love fighting in general. Just truth be told. Now, for this team and what we've been for the past 6-7 years, I kind of need somebody to set the tone.
Absolutely.
Because we haven't had a tone setter in God knows when. Since Cam left and since Luke Kuechly has left, we haven't had a tone setter or anybody we feel like can truly, you know what I'm saying, set the pace and guys follow. Now we'll see if guys follow in the following weeks, and if as games continue to get played, will our guys continue to match teams' physicality? But you go back to 2 years ago, Bryce's rookie year. Go back to that Vikings game.
Yep.
Go back to when he gets smacked and everybody just
on a dead ball,
and just sitting there with the hands like, what happened? Why would he do that? Nobody ain't willing to throw down or nothing. I said that's a problem. I said I can at least respect the fact that, all right, there's some fire in the room. We're going to stand on something, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully for XL, and I hate it because it was so early in that game we didn't get to see him get any work.
I was so shocked. I mean, I understand you're throwing punches, you're going to get, like, ejected.
Yeah.
But It's a preseason game.
And that's where I was like,
it's a preseason
if
game.
Any time we could say, hey, look, let it rock, then I think that could have been the one.
And truth be told, had the Browns defender like not held on to XL, he probably would have gotten off scot-free because he didn't do nothing.
No, he didn't. He just sat there and ate some licks. You know what I'm saying? Ate a 3-piece dinner with a biscuit. You know
and the funniest part is that XL was like going down to the ground. I think he was getting ready to pick him up and suplex him.
Good God, if that boy would have got up,
I really think he was going to drive him to the ground.
He would have took him for a ride.
Which is what I was like. It was insane. I was so mad because I just put my camera down. Like, I was like, all right, play's over, let me put my camera down. And then I go up and I see what's happening. I'm like, what is going on? Yeah. It was hilarious to watch. And don't get me wrong, those boxing lessons looked like they must have paid off. His form was great.
But yeah, he was landing some blows again. Now you are punching a helmet, so
yeah. From certain angles, but he was getting him under the shoulder pads too. Hey. But also you're punching shoulder pads, so like
again, I'm not a biggest proponent of fighting, but see, at a point, if you played this game, you understand how. Football's a physical game.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do have to let it be known. We ain't going for that.
Yeah.
We ain't going for none of that. So yeah.
And I think I thought it was great. I was like show me somebody cares. Yeah. Show me somebody gives a damn. Like. I don't think you're gonna see because that's been one of the biggest things I've seen from joint practice and even in training camp, like against each other. These guys have that passion. Like Jimmy Horn will get in your face and start talking to you. Chuba Hubbard will get in your face and start talking, even at the joint practice. And I still don't know if it was a joke or not because Corbett did play for the Browns. Yeah. But one of the biggest scuffles of the day, Corbett was in the middle of it, and that's not the kind of guy you would think, right. Especially out of the linemen are concerned, yeah. But he was right up in there and had the guy through. Even Bryce. Like, I've seen Bryce talk back in practice and training camp so much.
But you talked about JC a couple weeks ago alluded when Kay Adams came to Charlotte.
Yeah.
He alluded to Bryce having a little bit more of a chip on the shoulder than what he lets to be known to the people. You know what I'm saying? I love it. If that's how people are really gonna carry themselves and that's how you're really gonna act, then for sure stand on 10 toes by it, and let's rock out.
Then going forward, I think good things to know. We now know who's the starting center. They've named, speaking of Austin Corbett, making him the starting center, which is great because you have to give Cade Mays the ability to play anywhere on the ball. He was playing out of guard today, which we need because we're still waiting to see how Chandler Zavala is doing, mm-hmm. and the offensive line depth. I talked about it. We returned every offensive lineman from like practice squad to all the way up to the top, mm-hmm. added some new pieces too, from the younger guys or free agents, and that's very rare. Yeah. And that can be your saving grace this season.
Absolutely. And K Mays, when he was called upon, played well.
Fantastic.
You know what I'm saying? So again, him having that ability to be able to swing around the different spots on the offensive line, I think he's more valuable there than he would be necessarily as the starting center.
Same with Brady Christensen. Having the two of them off of the performances they put up together last season probably could have gotten starting gigs somewhere else.
I thought they were. I did not think we would get Brady Christensen
back. I absolutely did not think he was coming back, and that was great to see in and of itself. So I was happy for that. Outside of that, Andy Dalton. I don't know if that was just an off night for the guy.
I'm gonna hope so.
I hope so. It was not good.
No, not for a guy that the saving grace by keeping him on the roster is that you feel comfortable that if Bryce cannot play or we got to go with somebody else, Andy Dalton can hold it down and can run the show. That wasn't good.
No.
That wasn't good in the slightest. And I do think it's time to start looking at a good younger option at backup quarterback. Like the further we get, after this season, of course, right? Like
100%.
You got to be looking at a young backup QB option. So, I think he should probably get comfortable with this being the last season.
Which is crazy to see. Which is crazy thinking about, considering how the last two seasons have gone.
Right.
Looking forward to the Texans. So they're done practicing for the week. They'll go joint practice, with the Texans, and then of course leading up to that preseason game. And I'll be interested to see who does, how many of the starters the Texans do play, from the running back room to the offensive line to defense as well, because I really need to see some more from our defense than I did, and I really need to see. I'm hoping I preferably would like for them to play Derek Brown. I don't think it's going to happen. I know they won't. Like I said, I know they won't play JC. And then I just hope we see a better defensive performance.
Absolutely. I want to see our guys finish plays. You got to the quarterback last week. You got pressures. Can you get to C.J. Stroud? Can you actually get them? Can you actually get guys to the ground? Our rookies continue to ascend. I want to see which one of these guys figures it out first, and who can figure out how to get into that rotation. Both will be in the rotation, but who can make a name for themselves the quickest against other opponents. So I mean, yeah, like I said, the defense is definitely my biggest concern. Offensive line wise, obviously just getting that group healthy. But the guys that are gonna play, K. Mays, Brady Christensen, like, hey, can you guys hold it down for us? Because we brought you guys back, intending upon you're gonna have to play at some point.
Right.
So I really have no leniency with the offensive line looking shaky, because we trusted all of you guys to be able to come in and play at some point.
Like, that's the one room outside of health concerns that we shouldn't have any issues with.
No.
Like, that's where I'm like, all right, that should be A-okay. And so I think outside of that, I'm just interested to see how long they do play the starters everywhere. I think for Bryce, like I said, and Canal said it in the post game presser. Like, I think next time we want to see Bryce get that third drive.
Mm-hmm.
I'd, to be honest, would rather see him get a fourth. I'd be okay with seeing him against the Texans, provided that we can get a straight healthy offensive line. Like I said, I don't know about Damian Lewis. I could be okay with almost a quarter.
And I was thinking that too. I'm okay with a quarter against that team.
Right.
I would like to see some good work for an entire quarter. Entire quarter, if you can put together, let's say 10 points. I would hope that we could all be okay with what we saw. Hopefully, barring that everything went how we, went according to plan. But yeah, I would like to see a whole quarter against that defense. I think that's the best team you're going to play this.
Absolutely.
Preseason, so.
And I need to see 2 touchdowns. I need to see 2 touchdowns. I can't, 30 to 10 would have been bad enough if it wasn't for the fact that that 3 points came with 8 minutes to play, maybe. That's it's abysmal. I can't see that. I can't see that again, especially with the fact that the Browns 2 touchdowns came in the second half. I think if it wasn't in the second half, it was. I'm sorry, came in the first half, and then if it wasn't both in the first half, it was right when the second half started. I think they got the second one, maybe. Either way, like that, I can't see again. I need to see multiple touchdowns from the team. I would love, in a perfect world, 2 from the starters, and then at least 1 more.
You want to, you would hope to see a scoring drive from your backups.
At least.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, and especially with the guys that we are considering, the amount of young guys we have to play that are gonna start. Like, I do need to see. Like, it's important for those backups to look good, look decent at least.
Absolutely. It has been a long training camp.
Hey, bro.
It has been a long training camp. Technically, it ends after the Texans game.
Right.
That always confuses me. We've been hitting nights and weekends, days and mornings with the Charlotte FC going to, and with this, it has been long. But I am not tired of this team yet, though I was tired of the way I saw us come off the ball to start the game, and I need to see more aggressive play calling. I don't know if they're going to give the play calling to Cooley and Idzik for this game again. I'd be okay with seeing it from Idzik, not going to lie. I like the giving it to Cooley. I think Cooley's got a good head on his shoulders, and he's done well with the defensive back room. But we're still looking to see what Avero can do with this group, and I need to know that you can call a solid game with this group.
That side of the ball is the most important. Avero and his assignments with this team is the most important. That I feel like I got to see something soon, because if that doesn't get better, I can't put any stock into this team.
No, even especially considering the fact that you've got Roseboom with the green dot for the first time in his career. So for me to have Cooley calling the plays for a linebacker that's never called the plays.
Yeah, I need my head man, the guy that's gonna be calling it all season. You need to be the one.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
And feeding those into Roseboom, because you have to establish that chemistry and that connection early. Yeah. Because it's going to be louder in Houston than it was for that preseason game. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah. Also for me, just truth be told, I want to see XL in game action make the plays that he's been making at camp.
Yeah.
Make the plays that he made at FanFest. I just want to see it because I know the chirps are going to get louder.
They are.
The longer we go without seeing it. And, like, the worst thing that could have happened, like that happened last week, was that we never got to see him do anything because I don't think we even attempted a pass. I mean, we may have attempted maybe 1 or 2 passes.
I don't.
To that
honestly,
point.
I don't think so, because it was a 3-and-out the first drive.
Yeah.
The T-Mac play was the first play of that second drive.
Right.
And then XL was literally the next play.
Right. So we don't even get multiple pass attempts in before he's already thrown out. So I do need to see. I do want to see him because, I mean, here's the thing. I would like the problem of that people are trying to create is who's gonna be the standout, who's gonna be the one, who's gonna be the two.
Yeah.
I'm cool with this problem if everybody's making plays and pushing each other to that point to see who's going to take it. Because I mean, right now, I love what Jalen Coker's doing.
Absolutely,
I want all these guys to thrive. So let's,
absolutely. I also need to see more from offensively from the tight end room, from what Idzik is. As a tight end coach, very little I saw from them, especially in the starters or from Mitchell Evans. Like, hearing neither of their names called cannot happen in my opinion. And then give Rico some more time. Like, they took him out the minute they took Chuba out. Which either leads me to believe they plan on running them two pretty congruently as, like, a third down back and a first 2 downs.
Right.
Or, like, I just don't know why you don't give Chew. Don't get me wrong. I like to see stuff from Trevor Etienne. I don't really need to see K'Ron Lynch-Adams or Amani Bailey. Like, I understand. But
I think those are just, like, more camp bodies.
Absolutely.
Just trying to make sure. I mean, because, that position, that running back, it's a grueling one.
Absolutely.
And you're going to need both of those guys for 17.
Absolutely. So let Rico bear the brunt of some of that and get his feet wet in this system with these offensive line. Because, like I said, the minute they had him in for a couple runs, but then the minute they stopped running the starters in Chuba, he's not on the ball no more.
To be fair, I think I gotta assume they value Rico the same way they value Chuba as a starter.
Interesting.
Like,
and that's
maybe not the same, but that their value is pretty close. If I'm willing to run anybody into the ground, I'm running one of these threes.
Now that's fair. That's fair.
Into the ground before I run Rico Dowdle, because I think they very much expect Rico Dowdle to be the change of pace guy next to Chuba. And I mean, and you'll need that for a full season.
You will
want to make a real playoff push,
which looks a little bit shakier than it did 7-8 days ago.
Yeah.
So hopefully the Texans game can provide a little bit more comfort to the fact of that being a possibility. But until then, keep pounding.